Right. Hello and welcome to the DPoY podcast. My name is Sean. Joining me today is the one and only Margaret holding Jeffrey. Mr. Jeffrey, hello.
Pretty good, man. I've been a bit under the weather this week. I'm on the mend. You're probably feeling the same way. I don't know. That bloody end of summer, it just starts hitting you hard.
Yeah, and you need to go out more because it's the end of summer.
Exactly.
I didn't do it.
I barely went out. Barely went to the beach.
Yeah.
Barely went to the club. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am very tired after being at a concert last night. Till the wee small hours on a school night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that leads us to the intro topic that I want to talk about. Margaret Court Arena, right? Really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think if you had to grade it on terms of being a venue for tennis, I think it gets a C.
Wow.
I think it gets a pass grade.
Yeah.
Right? For concerts, it's got to be an F. Have you been to a concert?
I'm trying to think if I saw Kendrick Lamar there. Because all right, give me a Rod Laver versus Margaret Court, comparison.
Well, when we were rocking up, this is part of the reason why it's bad. There's those big stairs to go up to the whole sports complex, and she goes, if you're with Krungbin, door 3, just up here. If you're with some country singer in Rod Laver, go up door 1, right? So it's they split the crowd. One crowd's got a massive line, the other's much smaller. I think Rod Laver's small.
Yeah.
I think so.
Interesting.
And then, so she was ushering everyone to split the line.
Right.
And then we fully lined up for 10 minutes. We put our bags in for 10 minutes, lined up for 10 minutes, got through, went to the door, and she goes, oh, hold on. If you're on the floor seats, can you go for Krungbin? Can you go around to gate 7? So we walked down, and I just double checked. I was like, hey, do we have to go behind the stage? She goes, yeah, I got it wrong. So then us and half of the crowd just walks around.
One usher misdirected half of the crowd.
Yeah. It was that's generational figures.
Yeah.
Then so we walked around and then lined up with a bunch of other people can you believe it? And then we went in and just there was obviously people sitting in the seats and then people standing on the whatever, but there's no I love sitting by a music bowl, but it doesn't even have to be that. It can be 170 Russell. What is it, 180 Russell?
170, yeah. 170. Right the first time.
There's a slight ramp in 170 Russell, so it's if you are standing at the back, well, get this, you're probably going to see over the person in front of you, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Grass on a grassy hill does that. And it's this is a formula, just flat, right? Just you can't see anything. I'm quite tall, and I struggle to see most of the time.
God.
Which just shouldn't be the case. And then you look around you, you're like, oh man, I'm in this sort of mosh here. It's, whoa, not a mosh, but I'm surrounded by people. Then you look around and you're like, oh, everyone's actually just sitting down.
Yeah.
Just no one's standing up. One or two people are dotted up standing around. And a gig, you're supposed to be dancing.
Yeah.
It's very
it's pretty chill music.
Yeah, but it was like a recital, because a lot of people are jumping around.
Yeah.
Not that you could even see.
So the floor is 4 seats. It's not a...
No, floor standing.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But also the tennis court is elevated a couple of centimeters.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back and then maybe say, okay, let's just get a breather and look, you have to go down a few centimeters, which could if you're the decision between seeing the guitar player's heads this much, that's actually going to matter.
Yeah.
So you can't even escape it.
Damn.
And have a consistent long view.
That's terrible.
Get this. Then they're like, okay, we've got 5,000 people on the floor. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. We've got 1,000 people on the floor. Let's all usher them through 4 walkways. Only 4 walkways, but everyone sitting down is also trying to go out of those walkways. Right. So you go towards the thing, but if you're upstairs, you go first. So then they have to shuffle out like the movies, and then you have to go. Horrible.
God, sounds like a disaster.
And I've got little to no public transport unless this is
Yeah. You have to bloody get the 70 or trek to the...
what is it, the 70A?
Yeah. Or trek to Jollywan Station.
Yeah, well,
25-minute walk.
Wow. Yeah, we walked to the 11.
Oh, my God. Yeah. What a disgrace.
What a disgrace. This country wants to be number 1 in Liverpool, this city.
Right. And Krungbin, they weren't all there scratched off to me.
Yeah, I know. I went to see him in 2022, and before I went to the gig, I was like, this is going to be the best gig I've ever been to. And it smashed expectations.
Yeah, right.
I just Wednesday, this is their Tuesday night in Stoke. You know, their Wednesday in Melbourne.
Can you do it?
Can you do it? Yeah. And fuck, I don't think they could.
Yeah.
They were drinking a lot of water, and they were like, as they were playing, they were a bit like, thanks, like upping their guitar and stuff. I don't know the musical terms for upping a guitar.
Yeah.
They were
Turn my bass up, sort of thing.
yeah, and then like they went back at halftime and like, you know, imagine they like had a bit of a rest and came back out. But then one of them after the rest went back for 5 minutes and then came back out as well. Yeah,
It's just amateur stuff, really.
yeah, from like, honestly one of like the most happening men in the world right
Yeah, so much goodwill.
Yeah.
The style of music where it's like, you can't really not like me, kind of.
And honestly, the crowd showed that because you get a lot of old people at kind of big gigs, right? Also, you know, you can smoke in Margaret Court Arena.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've changed my mind.
Myth has been busted. You can also smoke outdoors.
Yeah.
Fucking a lot of oldies, which is like super cute, just wearing like their floral shirts. A lot of like, you know, our crowd. And then a lot of like people in their mid-30s who like when Instagram first started popping off, that's when Krungabin really got famous. So a lot of like those wide broad brim felt hats with like a feather, like the original hipster. Like,
Fucking hell.
legit original hipsters. It was quite a sight. I saw so many felt hats.
Yeah, that's nuts. I was watching the first episode of season 3 of The White Lotus last night. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's set in Thailand.
Yeah.
15 minutes before they played a Krungbin song.
Oh, wow.
I assume it's not the last.
Yeah, well,
The entire soundtrack seems actually, I mean, this is complete diversion. But I mean, you might know the opening theme and the score from The White Lotus, and that quite iconic. Some guy called Cristobal uses a lot of vocalizations in his score. This season, they seem to have gone for all like local Thai music. So it'll be like some Thai pop song playing under, you know, clearly some rich people trying to off each other or whatever happens on that show. So yeah, I assume there'll be heaps of Krungbin. But anyway, that's just my little aside about White Lotus, I guess.
hey, that's just your little aside about White Lotus. Would you want to get into what we're doing, or did you have a story?
No, just my original intro notes, because we plan to do this episode like, God, it must be like
December.
really or early.
January.
Yeah, but like pre All-Star break, pre trade deadline. And like, I don't think heaps has changed in terms of these since then. But I did put how about that Glenn Maxwell slash Alex Diminor as the opening thing. So yeah, it must have been late January when
because of the tennis.
the Big Bash League was popping off. Then Demon was streaming through the bracket.
We still would have been talking about Margaret Court. How interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably in a nicer light. Well,
I think she's a nice lady. You know.
what are we here to? She is not a nice lady. Yeah, we're doing awards. Yeah, we were supposed to do these awards, but then I said, let's do some funny awards. And then you interpreted that as, and I wrote the message, I remember.
Yeah.
I was like, I actually didn't say instead of. So you had real awards and silly awards, and then I just had silly awards. And we're like, we'll just, like, you did heaps of work, Mark. We'll go do real awards later. Here we are doing real awards.
Accountability.
Yeah, we don't have to describe what the Chris Evans from Knives Out, what the Chris Evans from Knives Out award is. You might be familiar with terms like most valuable player, most
Defensive player of the year. Although some of the voters aren't.
So maybe we'll just like take it in turns at introing the award. We've got our picks. We will be updating our spreadsheet. I don't know if that does much for the listeners, but it does a ton for us. It's great to see. I think that's all the caveats, unless we're talking about how we're decided.
Yeah, the one thing for me with doing the quarter, mid, or 3/4 season awards is if you're doing who has been, for example, the most valuable player up until today, or who you think is going to win the award, you know, based on, you know, how their season's going and trends and things like that. So, you know, for example, you might be like, all right, well, Victor Wembanyama has been the best defensive player in the NBA this season, but he's obviously not eligible to win the award because he was injured before he hit the 65 game mark. That makes you eligible for the award. And there'll be a couple more examples as we go through this. But so I feel like we've maybe landed on somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Because of the spreadsheet, we do want it to look a bit like a prediction.
Yeah.
But it's like we both think Wemby is the DPoY.
Yeah.
And he's not going to win, which is just like, I feel like this isn't in the spirit of the 65 game rule. We don't have to talk about it, but like, you know, is this what they intended?
Yeah.
Did they want Darren Fox to play through an injury last year? And did they want Wemby to not be like the youngest DPoY since XYZ?
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think the Wemby case is special. I mean, here we are talking about the DPoY right off the bat. But it's special because it was just so clear from about 15, 20 games into the season that you were going to have to give it to him because he was so good. His impact on and off, you know, the number of blocks he was averaging.
And he got better.
Yeah, and he was just getting better and better and better. And then there was just no clear second either. It wasn't like, you know,
like Chet or Mobley.
Yeah. Cool. Or it wasn't like when we were doing Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brook Lopez a few years ago, where it was like, it's almost definitely going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. But the Brook Lopez arguments really,
you had really good argument.
It's like it's Victor Wembanyama or bust.
Yeah. Well, let's just do defensive player. Let's
get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, so you've got Victor Wembanyama, who's the best defensive player on a good defensive team simply because of him. Like they don't have any other pieces. The favorites, we'll give the favorites. The favorites now in order are Evan Mobley, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dyson Daniels. Then it was actually Shai and Lou Dort, which is very interesting. But so the Wemby argument is, hey, you got a bad team. He is their defense, which is so cool. Evan Mobley, the argument is, well, he's a very important player on the number 8 defense. But it looks like, you know, number 8, it's the winningest team. They've done a great job. He's also playing with the center, who's also very good at defense. And now they've got DeAndre Hunter, depending on what you think of him on defense. But he is a large piece in a bigger machine. And I think the same for Chet Holmgren, where Chet Holmgren went down, and I think I picked him like in my quarter season awards or something. So that way, he was in my preseason prediction. Chet Holmgren was doing great things for OKC, but now he's missed however many weeks it was with that broken hip, and he's back, and it's like, OKC the number 1 defense by a long way. It's like, Chet does help that, but he's clearly not the reason why.
Because they were the number 1 defense before.
A little bit more. Memphis is number 7 on defense. Jaren Jackson Jr. also shares the court with a center who's also. I don't want to put down these defensive power forwards. No, do enable one.
Because it's like, Giannis has played next to Brook Lopez every season. We've been like, oh, he's a defensive monster. And it's not like, oh, he's only good because he has Brook Lopez. It's like, no, it just unlocks it.
It helps. But in terms of picking the defensive player of the year, that's why we've got Wemby. Because he don't like, if he plays next to a 5, it's fucking criminal. And if he plays next to a 4, it's a bad basketball player. And even, you know, it's not like they have like an elite perimeter defender who, you know, helps shuffle players into, you know, into the paint where he's waiting for them. It's like he doesn't have Shai, Lou Dort, and Caruso.
His Stephon Castle might be the best perimeter defender.
True. Also,
the San Antonio Spurs.
It's not Christopher. It's not Champagne Hair.
No.
It's Harrison Barnes. Has he been injured?
Oh, no, he's been starting now.
Question. Hey, we've got a game on in the background. The Spurs without Wemby, and the Pelicans with their Wemby. That's like his 20th layup, Jordan Hawkins. On the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so funny.
He hasn't been doing that inside thing.
He last season he loved shooting threes. This season he loves shooting threes and one step inside the 3-point minis.
I thought we got rid of them 6 years ago. Okay, so is it worth saying a name if you're like? I mean, I'm abstaining, but I would pick Chet Holmgren, who's also ineligible. Like, what do you want me to write on the sheet?
Well, I mean, this isn't the thing, right? It's like you pick Wemby, he's ineligible. You pick Chet, he's also ineligible. And it's like Wemby just happens to be injured right now. So like, if I'm gonna make a pick that's like a prediction, I think it's gonna be Evan Mobley.
Yeah, true.
And I think like as well as what you said, like he's an important player on a good defense. I think it's like this. if he wins it this year, it will be a bit of like historiosity. Like he's been he's been a favorite the last like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The Cavs had they had like a top 3 defense once or twice over the last few seasons. And it'll be that thing where it's like, all right, well, he's good. He's not better than he was last year, but in lieu of a better candidate, let's give it to him. Because like all the improvements Mobley's made to be an all-star have been on the offensive end. He doesn't look better as a defender than he did last year.
Yeah, we'll talk about him again in most improved player.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us the rundown for MVP?
Let's do it. So the 2 clear favorites, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic. Then the other, high odds favorites, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jason Tatum. I mean, the Shai's numbers are like pretty similar to last season, but like he's leading the league in scoring. The Thunder are the best offense in the league and have the best record in the league, and just like so clearly look like title favorites at the moment. He's also managed to shake his. Well, you put 18 points, but I think it was 31 points.
I meant to write 28. Yeah, he just never really goes over 30.
Yeah, and he's had like a couple of 40-point games. I think he's had a 50-point game. He's he's never not been a good clutch player, but like, when it gets close for the Thunder, which is rare, I looked it up. Them and the Wizards have the equal least clutch minutes than anyone in the league.
Well,
it's a different read.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the clutch, then it's like, all right, Shai is gonna charge into the paint. He's gonna draw a foul. He's gonna kick it out. So I think any other season it wouldn't even be a discussion. Give it to that guy. But Nikola Jokic is somehow yet again for like the 5th time better than he was the year before. He's basically averaging a 30-point triple double. He's until like the last 10 games, Aaron Gordon was out, Jamal Murray was shit. I mean, I think Jamal Murray started to play a little bit better the last few games, and Aaron Gordon's come back. This is like the first stop on Russell Westbrook's post All-Star tour where he's actually looked like a basketball player.
Yeah, actually, there was a report because he's been good, but he hasn't been good enough to keep playing him as much as they do. And there was a report from Brian Windhorst, I think, that I love how I've set up the fucking light there. There's a report from Brian Windhorst that the Nuggets they actually don't have they can't stop starting him. Because Jamal Murray was out and they started him, and apparently they'll lose him in the locker room if he's not starting. Which is like, oh, okay, hold on. I was thinking only good things about you. You would start cutting, like you were winning games. And it's like, oh no, you're actually still the guy that thinks that you can be the number one. Bit of a bummer.
To be fair, has he? I feel like he has come off the bench a little bit since Jamal Murray's come back. But you're right. Like, if he's not occasionally starting, he's probably good.
I mean, it's like that in the playoffs. Anyway, Jokic, 30-point near triple-double averaging. Near 30-point triple-double. I think I'm going to go with Shai because if the Thunder win 65 games and Shai is the best player and he's doing that thing in January, February where he's like, hey, I kind of want to win the award now. I'll score 50 points against the Wizards. Doesn't mean much if I could score 30 points against the Wizards, but it's like this looks a lot better on your resume. And if the Nuggets win 49 games, it's going to be hard, to Westbrook did it, where it's like you average triple-double on the 8th. The Nuggets going to win more than that. I just think the win difference is...
And also it's not even that the Thunder are going to win 15 more games than the Denver Nuggets. It's that they're going to look like 2 tiers better than
Like,
I think everyone is sort of coming around to the idea that this is like the best team in the league by like quite a lot. Whereas maybe as Boston has sort of faltered a bit, like the bloody lost to the Pistons. No slouches.
And they were trying.
Yeah. They had no injuries, like Drew and Porzingis back. So I think everyone's coming around to the idea that it's like, all right, this team is so much better than everyone else, and this guy is clearly the best player on that team. He's going to lead the league in points per game. It would kind of be criminal not to give it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, because I seriously think the Nuggets could still finish with home court advantage. Like,
Yeah,
they
could be to stop myself when I said 50 because they might if they go on a run in it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like his teammates are letting him down. Because the Nuggets, we could talk about Bruce Brown and we could talk about Michael Porter Jr.'s contract, but it's like if they still had that like hyper optimized team and they weren't like, hey, Darius, do you want to sit on the bench for $9 million?
Yeah.
If they could be in the 60 win range as they consistently were.
Yeah.
Then Jokic will win the MVP. Yeah. But it's like, we're going to give it to the team that looks a lot better with their best player.
Yeah, and then
also fatigue.
And you could even make the argument that if Jamal Murray had been better 20 games earlier and Aaron Gordon had been injured 10 games less, then Jokic probably isn't averaging 30 points. Because it doesn't have to, because
he doesn't want to do that.
We know what Jokic looks like with the optimized team. He still wins the MVP, but he averages 26, 10, and 10, on, fucking 62% from the field or no, but I think it's going to be Shai's here.
Yeah. So we've both gone Shai there. Next award, Rookie of the Year. This was really hard. The favorites are Alex Sarr, Steph Castle, Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, Yves Macy, and Zachary Reese-Shai. I've written here Nightmare Blunt Rotation.
Yeah, for real.
Like
two French dudes.
Two French dudes, a lot of role players. Like I wanted to say Steph Castle because his highlights are the highest, I think. But fuck, the numbers, like he's a heavy favorite to win right now.
Yeah.
The numbers are really bad.
Every time I watch a Spurs game, I go, fuck, Steph Castle's going to be really good. And like, he's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you look at the stat sheet and you're like, what did you actually contribute to this game?
Yeah. And now that's just going to keep happening because they're tanking.
Yeah.
And like even so, if Castle's got the most, that Brogdon versus Embiid argument, if Castle's got the most star potential, you don't want to give it to the Malcolm Brogdons of Jalen Wells and Yves Macy. It's like there's not much here. Who have you gone with?
I've gone with Yves Macy just because,
yeah. He'll be first team all rookie.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he's averaging like, I want to say he's averaging 10 and a block and a half, but it's more like 8 and a block and a half.
But that's fine.
But like he's averaging what, like you want that sort of player to average. He looks comfortable on offense and defense, like on a real NBA team. And I think he's probably the only rookie who like didn't have like a 20 game stretch where they were legitimately shit. Like he looked comfortable kind of for day dot for the Pels,
which is quite remarkable because we were making fun of you for not having a center. Just like, wow,
you were saying, hey, that Carlo Mankovic guy, good. And
well, because we got the Pels game on the background, you started Yves, Zion, and Kelly Olynyk, and now we're watching Kelly Olynyk play with Carlo Mankovic. It's a horrible lineup.
So the first game we started with those, Yves and Kelly had 30 rebounds between them. So
Yves just good. It's like, and if I had to pick a role player to win it, I would pick Jalen Wells.
Yeah,
but it's like it's splitting hairs. It's like, do I want the guy who's averaging 12 points and just hits open threes?
And he's a good perimeter defender.
Yeah, it's like they're all fine. I've actually gone with Zachary Reese-Shai. Since they traded DeAndre Hunter and more since Jalen Johnson's been injured, he's been averaging 15.8, 3.6. Well, that's a full stop. I didn't want to say the last number. 3.6 rebounds.
6 what?
3.6 rebounds. Total rebounds on 54, 52, and 78.
Yeah, right. I told this guy, and he's averaging 3.5 rebounds.
It's right. He's frankly skinny. I think this is my flaming hot take of the year with Goo from the Goo house.
Yeah.
I think Zachary Reese-Shai is going to be the first NBA player in history to win Rookie of the Year but not make first team or rookie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you figure that?
Well, it happened to Joakim Noah. He won Defensive Player of the Year, but didn't make defensive first team. Everyone gave it to Dwight.
Because of the positions.
I guess there's no position.
There's no position.
But it's like, I feel like Steph Castle's probably going to be like, close second. And are there enough just like dudes? Like, are there enough local reporters in Memphis and New Orleans who have a vote to not vote for Zach. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny.
No, I think that's good. Yeah. I can imagine a all rookie first team without it.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
Very easy.
Well,
what do you reckon?
This takes me to my point at the start of the pod where you're making a predictive pick.
Yeah.
This Zach Shai one, and I think if we'd done this pod when we'd originally intended to, we wouldn't. I would mention
say anything. Yeah.
But it's this thing that we've been talking about with this rookie class where it's like there's no clear future all-stars. Like there's no ones who, especially like after the draft, you were like, oh yeah, that guy's a future all-star, for sure. And usually you can pick like 2 or 3 and one of them will like flame out. And one of them will become an all-star. But I think what's happened here is, and I'd probably put Steph Castle in a similar camp where it's like, Shai just needed that acclimatizing time to the league, which I guess because this rookie class was so star bereft and like had all these legitimate role players in it, they were like, they all were playing at role player level, like pretty much from game one, like Messi and Wells and Edie, like all looked pretty comfortable in an NBA court within the first month or so. And then you're like, oh, Paul, these guys are obviously so much better. It's like, nah, but like we know that those like high pick, particularly high, like lottery pick wings who project to be all stars, like kind of look bad for the first.
It's a hard position.
Yeah, it's like Jalen Green or something like that. For instance, I mean, he took a few years to come around to it.
Yeah.
But even like I'm trying to think of other recent examples. Like I don't think Anthony Edwards was like amazing for
Brandon Ingram was bad. Anthony Edwards was like averaging like 15 points. Like he had some big games. Like Brandon Ingram was bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, is his best thing defense? It's like, well, it's not offense. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think that's what Shai predicts to be for me, where it's like
it could be good.
Yeah. But like it's gonna take time.
Yeah. And the other guys, it's like, okay, Alex something will have to happen that we don't know. Also, Zion, we should mention his new tattoo today. Have you seen Naruto?
Yeah.
He's got the nine-tailed fox.
Oh, really?
He fully got the sealer out his belly button.
Golly gosh.
Yeah. And he's got a goatee.
His big belly.
Yeah.
My God.
Smallest it's ever been since he's been on telly. I didn't mean to rhyme. Reed Shepherd.
Yeah.
He can be a star.
Playing the G League.
Yeah, but he's averaging 40 points as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's like he was My preseason pick was Zach Shai.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, man.
I think mine was Alex Sarr. But yeah, you can imagine Shai is just like, all right, cool. There's one less wing on my team. I figured things out a bit. Now it's my time to, score a few more points.
I put Atlanta on for a bit. I forgot that they received Karis LeVert and he's playing a lot of 30 minutes. Yeah. Which, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
Cool. 6 man of the year. What do we got?
All right. So we got
this is my favorite podcast setup.
We got Peyton Pritchard, large gap, DeAndre Hunter, Malik Beasley, and Amen Thompson.
Can I vote for large gap, please?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean, I think Peyton Pritchard's like the heir apparent to this, averaging 14, 3.8, 3.5 on 47, 41, 84 shooting. He's coming off the bench for second best team in the league, and averaging 14 points, which is no mean feat. They're happy to close games with him. He's honestly one of the biggest shot makers, just generally. The number of times you see a buzzer beater 3 from Peyton Pritchard is kind of stupid for a team that has Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. The list goes on. I think that was the list, but
it's a very good list. Yeah.
And then DeAndre Hunter's had his true breakout season coming off the bench for Zach Shai in Atlanta. Had a good points jump. Do we have his averages?
No one wants it.
Yeah. And then obviously got traded to Cleveland, presumably to start at the 3, and he's actually I think he started 1 of 6 games. Like, they're kind of maybe at least for this season being like, all right, well, you're comfortable in that role. Like, keep coming off the bench.
Yeah, and close games.
Yeah.
If you need another big body.
Yeah.
It feels a bit dirty though, picking him for 6 man of the year. I think Peyton Pritchard definitely deserves it. But if you were to make the argument, it's like, oh, he's the 6 man of the year because the team drafted number 1 overall, which they didn't expect.
It's a bit like,
So that's the reason why you are the best player off the bench. Because you're clearly the better player, but they've got more.
Yeah, and then it's like, does the 6 man of the year play 36 minutes and close in the playoffs for the 1 seed? Like, that seems crazy. Doesn't it?
It defeats the purpose of it. Like when Utah traded Enes Kanter, now Enes Freedom, when they traded him to wherever the hell he went, New York or something.
Yeah.
But no, he went to OKC to help.
Yeah,
Crazy. To help. They got traded for they got traded. It was like after the halfway point of the season, and Rudy Gobert had come off the bench every single one. He come off the bench like 42 games. Started the rest of the year, like jumped into the DPoY chat, and so he was in consideration for DPoY. And then apparently the NBA was like, please don't vote for Rudy for 6 man of the year. I know he's the best player to come off the bench this year, but
he hasn't been good coming off the bench, which I guess is the one argument for DeAndre Hunter. He's been coming off the bench and he's been good.
Yeah, that's true. So we're both picking. Oh, you actually picked?
Yeah, I'm picking Hunter. Well, like, I just think his numbers are going to be so much richer.
True. I guess if he's still averaging 18 points,
and if he keeps coming off the bench for Cleveland, which it looks like he does, and he keeps averaging those amount of points, being like, good. I think like, I hate to use this term, but like a good defensive playmaker when Evan Mobley and Jared Allen aren't on. When one of the other aren't.
You hate to say it because we haven't been able to say it recently.
Like if he's actually kind of marshalling the defense, like coming off the bench with like, which I think is what you want for that Cleveland team, at least for the moment. I mean, in the playoffs, I think you want a guy who can guard Jason Tatum starting. Like if he keeps doing it,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Peyton Pritchard is the blueprint.
This it's a very weird award.
Yeah.
Let's take a break before we move on.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep2 Podcast Network.
The NBA moves so quickly these days, it's hard to keep up. Shams and Woj are breaking stories left and right, but the Quick Time Out is right there with them to keep you informed on the latest NBA news. Stop in and let us break it down as it happens. Find the Quick Time Out on the Deep2 Podcast Network.
Alright, I am enjoying Most Improved Player. Favourites, Cade Cunningham, Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, Evan Mobley, Amen Thompson. And because of the 65-game rule, Jonathan Kuminga is not eligible for this award. I didn't write down who. So, Cade Cunningham, I don't know if you know this, but the Detroit Pistons are on the biggest winning streak they've been on in 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. Now 8 after beating the Boston Celtics.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's pretty cooked. So there's the Cade argument where it's like, okay, you've got this guy who had the pedigree of being a star player and he's taken the leap and he is now that star player for a winning team. Norman Powell, fucking coolest storyline.
Yeah.
Just got an opportunity that wasn't there. First time averaging over 20 points per game in a season. Has 24 points per game. 31 years old. The Clippers are an offensive hellhole, so if you're picking him to be the most improved, it's like, sort of empty calories. He's still a very good basketball player, but he's not improving the offense. They just need someone to score. Or Tyler Hero. I wrote an article earlier in the year about Tyler Hero's insane 3-point percentage jump. When I wrote that article, he was shooting 41.3% from 3. He's now shooting 37.8, so it's like come back down to earth. Something I predicted in the article on deep2.com. But it's like, it's not Tyler Hero. We can ignore him out. Who are you going with?
I've written down Norman Powell, but I just want to discuss this.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's gorgeous.
It's really good arguments for both. I think if either of them won, you'd be like, fuck yeah, that's one of the best wins we've had.
Yeah. Wow.
Because Cade is the prototypical, all right, first time all-star, future superstar, or future superstar potential.
There's no pajama in it.
Yeah, Shara, it's Brandon Ingram, although things will work out differently for Cade. Just don't you worry. But I think the thing with Jar was like, Jar was so good the year before he won Much Improved, and like Cade's been good and injured and toiling away on one of the worst teams in the league, and now it's like everyone's watching him be good for the Pistons, and like I think with like Jaden Ivey missing time, and they've got good role players, they've got good vets, but like it's just so obvious that so much of the reason why they're good is because of him and like the steps he's taken this season, but also just like, you put a few shooters around this guy and he's going to look so much better so quickly. So that's like, that's the perfect prototype to win.
It just sucks that he's like 23 and so of course you're improving.
Yeah. But the Norman Powell thing's like, I don't know, will this ever happen again?
Well,
has this ever happened before?
Yeah, I saw a graphic. It was like, when was the last time this happened? And it's like some Adrian Dantley shit.
Yeah.
So stupid. Whereas, I can't even think of a joke. Decades ago.
Yeah.
And to happen in the modern NBA where everything, like just modern sports, where everything is so hyper, like drilled down to just the 1%ers. Like, if someone has the capacity to average 24 points a game, they're probably going.
Someone should know that.
Yeah, like who's someone who's toiling away? It's like, if they get a chance, everyone really gets a chance.
And like Norman Powell's been like,
it's been good. He's been in this discussion.
Yeah, and he's been on like teams that would want him to average 24 points and would be happy to give him the shots to average 24 points. Like, it's not like he's, I know he's obviously a bigger role opened up this season because
they got no one.
They lost Paul George, and Kawhi was injured at the start of the season. But like, excuse me, there's no reason he couldn't have done this for the Raptors or the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers would have loved him to average 24 points per game and guard three. Yeah,
unfortunately, he averaged 19 points and guarded three.
So I want to give it to him like the opportunity to give it to him. Yeah,
it's very reminiscent of our DPoY chat last year where I was like, look at this chart I've color coded it, you idiot. And you're like, I don't know, this is Brook Lopez's last tour.
It's 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, that was 2 years ago. Who won DPoY last year?
It was Rudy Gobert again, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Is that right?
Jamie, pull that up. DPoY 2024.
Yeah, it was Rudy Gobert. No, it's because the Timberwolves had
they're like 65 wins or something.
Yeah, and one of the best ever.
And then they turned Cat, a 7-footer, into Julius Randle.
There you go. That'll work out for them.
Coach of the year. I can't remember if I awkwardly. No, you do this one.
All right. So favorites. Clear favorite, Sandy Atkinson. And then we got Ime Udoka, Mark Daigneault, Taylor Jenkins, Jamal Mosley, and Tyronn Lue.
Did you just pronounce it Daigneault?
Huh? Yeah, Daigneault.
I thought it was Daigneault.
Nah, I just like fucking with his name.
What's the Star Wars planet?
Dagobah.
Dagobah. That's a black Dagobah. Oh, we're done.
All right, let's retake it. So we've talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers a few times on this podcast already. At the time of writing, they were 35-6, so that's changed significantly.
True.
Because they ended their insane win streak, so they're 48-10. So 13-3 over the last 16 games. Shit, that's a
48-10 is such a nice number.
They're still the best team in the league. They didn't really make any big roster changes over the summer, and he's just unlocked Evan Mobley. They look so much better. Like, things have clicked for Donovan Mitchell. Ty Jerome is, Sixth Man of the Year candidate actually that we didn't mention.
Yeah, people would have tuned off.
And they've made enough of a jump from their record and how they were playing last season that I think it's that looks so clearly coaching driven.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. He's come into a team that was really good on defense because they have the two bigs. They've got heaps of shot creators, and he's somehow managed to make those shot creators work, plus turn Evan Mobley into a shot creator, And Ty Jerome has the fucking green light whenever he wants. It's like, that's not what you needed. He's got that really weird inverted cutting where he's got guys sprinting backwards. And like, apparently in training camp, he was getting guys to practice like backwards jogging, like just mad scientist. Why didn't you do that with Golden State? So we also had bad spacing and too many creators. But that's right. Go get paid. Kenny Atkinson signed with the Charlotte Hornets and then reneged.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Great move by him. Incredible.
Charles Lee, I was considering him for coach of the year at the start of the year. Like, oh, he must be good. He's been on 5 good teams before this. Don't look at the offense of the Charlotte Hornets.
Don't watch the Charlotte Hornets.
I watched them yesterday against my Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Some names on that roster.
Yeah.
What was your reason to dislike him?
No, just the names. Yeah, absolutely. And like the drop off in talent from LaMelo Ball is like, you said this the other day. They haven't. Oh, did you say? Somebody said it. Yeah. There's the worst. They have the worst 2 through 15 in the league. Just bar for bar.
Horrible. Mark Williams was going against Draymond Green at center full time the other day.
Yeah, it's like
you're trying to show a team why you deserve to be out there.
Yeah.
Because they've just reneged.
Yeah. You don't have some other awful persistent injury besides your back, which is already
or maybe that. 36 minutes to KJ Simpson.
KJ Simpson.
Yeah, I've never heard of this guy. Damian Ball.
No, never heard of him.
Wendell Moore Jr. is good, I think.
But like, so you got a guy called KJ Simpson and you got a guy called Wendell Moore Jr. That's like, Pro Evolution Soccer. Wendell Carter Jr. and KJ.
Yeah, fuck, that's funny. I would have gone with stick cricket, but that's fine. We're both going to go for Kenny Atkinson, obviously. Do you want to talk second or no?
Is there? Well, what else is? I mean,
Mark Daigneault, has he won one yet?
Yeah, you want to do it. You're not going to give it to him again. I thought it was funny when the Clippers were like the 4th seed to give it to Tyronn Lue for like, making lemonade. But I think beyond that, there's no argument.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Jamal Mosley as my preseason prediction, but he's just like, the offense is really stale.
It's very unimaginative, and also they're just bad. Yeah, like they've just fallen. They've got both their they both got both their superstar wings back, and they're not good enough.
Yeah, where are they on the stand?
They're not. They're I want to say they're 7. Yeah,
true. But I guess when Detroit win 8-0.
Yeah, but they're below 500, which is like, you just shouldn't be there if you have, the roster they have. Yeah.
All right, final award, Executive of the Year. That's right, guys. We're not doing Clutch Player of the Year. Favorites. I can't find any. You couldn't find any.
No, I couldn't find any odds. Again, this was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Sam Presti, Leon Rose, Raphael Stone, Zach Kleiman.
I'm going with please add Sean.
You actually wrote please add Sean as like, true, you forgot Mike Dunleavy.
True.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, Mike Dunleavy, I'll tell you his resume. He traded for Dennis Schroeder to shore up the backup ball handling duties.
No.
He traded Dennis Schroeder plus all the value for Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
Choose like Andre Iguodala 2. We're 6-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. I feel like if this is like a 2/3 season awards, if we were doing this, maybe full season, we might be giving it a little bit more love once we're 31-1.
Once the honeymoon's over, okay.
Yeah, but honeymoon doesn't finish till next year. It's very true. We let Clay walk.
Yeah, that was a good move.
We drafted Quentin Post.
Great player.
Pick.
That's a real David Griffin move. I would say.
Yeah, better your job overall, but you managed to get good players. Yeah, that's fair. You got to give it to Presti.
Yeah, we got to give it to Presti. I put Rob Pelinka here for making the greatest trade of all time.
I didn't even think of that.
But actually no. This is we'll talk about this in relation to Presti. So Presti, like obviously years of good work, which deserves something. Then you add 2 like vets that fit your team perfectly in Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso. you draft AJ Mitchell, which is just like, all right, so what's that? You're like 6th.
That's their queen of mode.
Yeah. But it's like the 6th time it's happened in the last 3 or 4 years.
Sure.
And like, it's just another guy who can come off the bench and play shooting guard, small forward minutes and look good. And then, like we know that they're just their points differential, their wins, they're just winning games at an insane rate. And they did it without Chet, without Hartenstein, and without Caruso for parts of the season. But does any of that matter if you somehow get released the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic?
And they kept a pick.
Yeah.
That's so true. Because, like, we're not going to give it... Let's say they build a title contender next year.
Yeah.
We're not going to give it to Rob Pelinka next year. And they're signing, like, the next KCP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, wow. That's... Because what else is there? They traded from Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a good trade.
Signed Alex Lamb.
Fuck. What did they do in the offseason? Did they re-sign or just pick up D'Angelo Russell's option? They traded the Dorian Finney-Smith.
Trade from DFS. They drafted Dalton Connect and that other guy.
I feel like you just got to give it to the 65. They traded Giddy for Caruso.
Yeah, insane.
It's not.
Also, like, what do you think the Thunder's worst contract is?
Yeah, it's like Kenrich Williams.
Yeah, but like,
it's like $5 million.
Or is it like you're going to be paying Caruso $20 million when he's 34? Like,
oh no, they extended it.
Yeah, but like, if that's the worst thing about your team,
I feel like Isaiah Joe's next contract won't be good.
Yeah.
That's a bit of Duncan Robinson and that.
Their next contract situation could be really bad because they have like
they're all locked in.
Yeah,
like they're going to re-sign J-Dub and Chet, right?
Yeah.
And because they're going to be restricted, they're done.
Yeah. You're locked in to those guys who are all really good at basketball. Don't get me wrong, but like long term paying, you're probably just going to be paying the tax, like whether you like it or not, as well. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Like you can't dip below the tax with 4 first round picks on like
on extension and Shai making 54.
Yeah. But you know, we're not judging Sam Presti on what he has to do next year when they've potentially won the championship.
And Sam Presti has been in this situation where he has had heaps of draft picks go well, and he's had to extend them, and then his owners come to him and said, "Hey, dodge the tax."
Yeah,
James Harden trade. Right?
Yeah.
And then his owner immediately was like, "Holy fuck, that was so wrong." And then he's like, "I got to pay the tax for as long as we've got Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook," and they did. But unfortunately, they'd already gotten rid of James Harden. Yeah. They chose Serge Ibaka, which is weird to think about. I've been thinking a lot about Serge Ibaka the last couple of months. He's a very interesting player.
Yeah.
And then it was like Dale Waiters and Enos Freedom and you know, Kevin Martin. So it was like, I think they've learned from that experience where it's like, just pay the money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and they haven't had to for seasons. So like,
they've just been printing money.
The coffers should be pretty dry.
True. Yeah. How do you feel about Jimmy Butler and the Warriors?
No, I really like the fit, and like the more I watch it, the more I'm like, yeah, this works.
Smart basketball player.
Will you be one of the 6 best teams in the West though? Like,
do you know how
pretty high, man.
You know how I listen to a lot of Warriors pods?
Yeah, I do.
And it's just disgusting. They all think that we're going to be the 6th seed. They're saying shit like 5's too hard. We'll be 6 or 7.
I saw a X thread, the Bird app, the X app, that was like every remaining game in the Warriors schedule. It's like, here's why the Warriors will be the 6th seed. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, even your deranged Twitter fans aren't aiming high.
Well, that's because the Clippers are 6th.
Yeah.
And they're 15 games behind. We're 8th, 16 games behind.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers, I don't know how this happened. It must have been when Anthony Davis was healthy. But they got a 4-game cushion on the 6th seed.
Yeah. And they look good.
Yeah. They just got Luka. So it's one of the Clippers, the Wolves, the Warriors, the Mavs, the Kings, the Suns. Is going to dodge the play-in.
Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's probably not.
And one of those teams is also not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that probably is the Suns.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the Dallas Mavericks without Anthony Davis, they're not going to threaten much. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're probably the biggest threat.
Yeah,
out of the Clippers who are there right now.
But they've been winning tough games without Rudy and Randall and Dante. So, which, you know, there might be a bit of addition by subtraction at times there. But like, if they get Rudy back, like they could, they could go on a good run of wins and create a buffer in the standings for sure.
You guys, New Orleans Pelicans, need to stop winning games.
Yeah.
Because you're currently 4th in the lottery.
Yeah.
1 game ahead of the Charlotte Hornets after you won yesterday.
Yeah.
You're playing all your best players.
Yeah.
There is no development taking going on.
No.
And you want to be one of the bottom 3 seeds, so you guarantee like a top 6 pick.
Yeah, 100%.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Is it bottom 4 have best shot at the first pick, or
It was bottom 3. Bottom 3 is flat.
Damn.
But then you have a hard floor if you're in that 3.
Yeah.
So the Charlotte Hornets, who we laughed at them, but like, if you're fucking playing Naruto chest tattoos Zion, you got to win more games than them, and then you might be in a nightmare situation.
Yeah, but it's impossible to feel good about having Zion Williamson healthy, or like, no, he's fully. I mean, he is fully healthy at the moment.
Yeah, he was
and not play him.
Yeah. You're not going to help you.
Yeah. Like, imagine shutting him down for the first time he's been healthy in through 9 months.
Bad wearables. Yeah. Also, like, this is your last year to get a pick, because next year, the following year is all Tassie, isn't it?
Yeah. You fully got it. You fully got me. You fully got me on the active listening. The active listening.
Yeah, leaning in. I guess that's it from me. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, man, those are some solid picks there, I think, Sean.
I think that's the tightest awards pool we've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. So I reckon that's on an hour.
Damn.
Yeah. If you're still listening, more power to you. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
Watch the film room. Actually, I thought we should have mentioned that at the beginning of the pod, but
shit.